We're at Golden West Bees, and I'm here picking. It's called a bee nuke. You see the guys out there readying all the nukes, and they raise bees. So I'm picking up my queen bee. I used to raise bees, and you get some really good honey, especially if I don't know if this thing's recording. Especially if you have a lot of fruit trees. You know, it's really good for them. It's good for everything. Bees are just good. Anyway, like I said, I live up in the mountains, so I like friendly mountain folk. Don't worry, people. It's not people without teeth up here. You know, that gets me when people think, I mean, look at, okay? It's nice. I mean, people have sense, and, you know, I see a lot of people up here, you know, and I'm going to say this because a lot of people go, oh, you know, there are no people of color. That's a bunch of BS. Shoot, there are people of color up here. It's just not a great majority, but you know what? Hey, it's a really nice place to live up in the mountains. You do get some recluse type people who've been there for years and they live off the land. Look how beautiful that is. But you'll notice that a lot of people who are writers and artists will move up to the mountains because of the scenery and the peace, and they can think straight, you know, they think better. And then, they have fresh farm eggs. That's another thing. Having chickens is a life source of food. You have eggs and chickens. You also get a lot of, what happens is a lot of people have chaotic jobs. Like, let's say they're police officers, and they're maybe firefighters, and they're used to working in the forests. So anyway, they like what they see. They like the terrain. They get used to it, and they say, hey, you know, move up there. But is it expensive? It depends on where you're at. I'm in California mountains, foothills to Sierra to the actual mountains. So I'm more like Sierra, and not in the hardcore mountains, but I say Sierra or mountains. But a lot of people do move up here, and in the respective people of color, there are people here who are Native American. They're mainly the Maidu Indians. I am 27% Native American Shoshone, and let me let that guy go first. And then, wow, that's kind of neat. I like looking at houses. Like, what do people do with their homes, you know? We have a lot of Portuguese up here, and I have a few African American friends that live up here, and it's a few Asians, but it's mainly, I would say, and there's Hispanics, you know, Latinos, whatever you want to call us. But there are people of color. Of course, I'd like to see more, but you know, I'm of the Christian race, so I don't care what race you are. I'm of the Christian race. Why would I say that I'd like to see more? Well, I just like to see, you know, a place flourish with multiple people, you know, that just are, like, not adhesive, cohesive, not adhesive, cohesive. Cohesive in living in their habitat, you know. I just think it's awesome. God, you know, made us, and everybody is just, you know, everybody's lives matter, right? So anyway, I wanted to say, always think of things that are good for you and the environment, which are bees and, you know, chickens. Chickens bring eggs and fertilizer. And in case of a zombie apocalypse, right, which people keep talking about, but in case of hard times, you have chickens. And if you have a rooster, then you have fertilized eggs that make more chickens. And a lot of people don't know that. They don't know much about chickens. They thought you always had to have a rooster to have eggs. No, rooster protects the chickens and they're very good at it. And then they also fertilize the eggs to hatch more chickens. And then, heaven forbid you ever had to, use your own chickens, but there are people who do, and hey, more power to them. I mean, they are a food source, and they do everything humanely. So it's just a survival thing, and when you're up in the mountains, people are more savvy to survival and what's needed. So I have my bee boxes set up. What you do is open this bee nuke up, and then the bees start flying out to go scout. So they come out and scout. As you can see, I got my bees into the box, and it's been a couple of days. They did a lot of swarming. I've gotten stung, I think, 5 times, if I counted properly. Anyway, honey is good for many things. It's good for wounds. It's just good for your digestive system. Okay, I'll be okay. Anyway, the way my boxes are set up, I'm going to set them up a little different because the entry should, well, it doesn't have to be, but be in the middle, and then there's a lower entrance. Well, they can exit and enter, but I should put that in the middle and then put the top back on. If anyone decides to get chickens or bees and you want to know all about raising them, it's an easy thing, but you have to pay attention to what you're doing. You definitely don't want to just throw them in, or even chickens, throw them out there and think they're going to be set to go. So I've got to make it to where I can get comments just in case you have questions. Anyway, so I've got some fruit trees around here, and these bees can travel far to other fruit trees, and so there's a lot about honey. You can Google anything nowadays, so you could figure it out, really. But if you do have any questions, I will make myself available. It was so funny. I had my bee suit on, right? Well, I didn't put the pants part on, and you should always wear loose clothing when you first introduce yourself to bees, because they don't know you, and these are not they don't know me yet for me to walk up on them without a suit on. But I had the top part on, and you have the hood, right? I didn't know that part of it was unzipped. Oh my gosh, I had 2 bees in there with my face, and I did not get stung, but yet they were stung through my pants. They stung my finger, and I was like, ow, because dummy me did not wear any gloves either. Yada. It was fun. So I will have honey. That takes time. They do it pretty quickly. I can give you information about that too. Sometimes you have the winter honey, the spring honey, the summer and the autumn honey. Some are light, some are dark. Also depends on the nectar blossoms on trees, fruit, vegetables, whatever.